Hi, welcome to my Module 7 Analysis of Learning. My name is Skylar Hollister, and this is for TEL 212 with Professor DeVito. This is just a reflection on what we have learned so far this 8 weeks. So let's just dive on in and start off with our questions. So the first question is, what do you know now that you didn't know before you took this class? And to be honest, to be very blunt, equity. I had no idea that there was a definition that had to do with not finance. So to be fair and to ensure fairness in a classroom setting and how to address inequities using the equity literacy framework is also something that I didn't know before I took this class, and applying that in different settings. And most importantly, I think that I learned more about what it's like to be a teacher, because going through all the case studies gave me so much insight on what it's like to be a teacher in a classroom setting, especially when dealing with biases and inequities and like how to address those. I really appreciate the perspective that I received on being a teacher. The second question is, what can you do now that you couldn't do before you took this class? So I feel that I can be a better teacher and identify various inequities that I may face in a classroom setting, from cultural to racial to gender or sex biases. I feel like I just have much more of an open scope of how to address these things. And additionally, I feel that I have a better scope of how to think outside the box and push the boundaries of learning as a teacher, ensuring that the future students in my care receive more than just textbook educations, but tools to be better citizens in our communities. What could you teach others to know or do that you couldn't teach them to know or do before you took this class? And funny enough, we come back to equity again. Before coming into this class, I knew nothing of the term equity and would have initially guessed that it was once again just pertaining to finance. But now I am hyper aware of how inequity affects a classroom setting and the cause and effects of these inequities. So I have in fact already taught some of my friends in my little online group that I chat with on Fridays. I taught them all about equity because I was so blown away that it was just this word with such an important meaning that so few of us knew about. So I gave them the Merriam-Webster definition and taught them all about it and what I was learning about in the class. And that was basically back out in week 2 of our class. And I just found it so important. So I'm already teaching people. What are your most significant challenges going forward related to becoming an effective, culturally responsive educator or community leader? I think one of my biggest challenges is, just to summarize and make this giant paragraph a little bit shorter, is dealing with bullies. I think that's going to be something that will be a sensitive spot for me, just knowing how I had to deal with bullies as a child. So I feel that as an educator, my biggest challenge will be to maintain an open mind and a patient heart to each and every student and situation that arises in my classroom, to generalize. And judging comes so naturally to most humans that I feel like I'm going to struggle when it comes to students that bully or pick on others. I feel that, it's going to be very important for me to have to step back and put my best foot forward to look beyond the bad behavior and to perhaps like get a perspective as to what might be causing it. So I feel like it might be a challenge, but I feel like I'm setting off on the right foot by addressing already that I know that it will be a challenge and to have that perspective. What must you do to overcome these challenges? I definitely think that patience will come with my kindness towards students. So, developing relationships will help me develop that patience and kindness, and that being open minded to bias and bullying situations will come with time. So, I think that the more experience that I receive in the classroom setting can be the utmost benefit to my development as a teacher. And until such time passes, I think that all I can do is keep learning, keep opening my mind to everything I can, and keep making myself aware of all possible things in life and culture that might influence biases or inequities, and just really keep an open mind to everything I could possibly be dealing with as a teacher, in order to keep of sound mind and patient and kind heart. What are you committed to doing to further your knowledge, dispositions, and skills related to multicultural diversity and social justice issues? So, when it comes to being committed to furthering my knowledge, disposition and skills related to multicultural diversity and social justice issues, I find that the most important key is to stay up to date on social media and news headlines. So, we live in this day and age where change is so fast, and social media posts and information spreads like wildfire, and therefore it demands constant attention in order to remain on top of what is currently going on in the world, from diversity to justice. So, my personal commitment is to always be aware as possible of the various issues that students may face, and social media trends and happenings, everything that's going on in students' worlds that can affect attitudes um, or social justice issues or what they might be facing that may cause inequity or bias in our classrooms. So I just feel like constantly being aware of what's going on outside of our classroom bubble as much as I possibly can, especially like in our community and in our world. I mean, so staying on top of news and current social media trends, and probably just honestly staying on social media, staying up to date with Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, all of those things, which some teachers may find detrimental in some aspects, I think I'll use more as a tool to stay current, and not only current, but to stay in communication with my students. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you so much for a great 8 weeks, and I hope you have a great holiday season. Thank you.